Honorable Member Manyi take the floor.
Order. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I also recognize the Commander-in-Chief of the EFF in absentia and his deputy. Speaker, Section 182 of the Constitution is one of the very important provisions in our Constitution. It provides for the establishment of the Office of the Public Protector. It grants the Public Protector with wide powers to investigate any conduct in state affairs, in public administration, and in all spheres of government. The office is one of the most important offices at the hands of the public and allows ordinary people who cannot afford to go to court an opportunity to seek redress. This office must therefore always be beyond reproach, and individuals appointed to lead this institution must be of impeccable moral and professional character. Their knowledge of the law must be blameless. Their commitment to social justice must be without stain, and they must demonstrate an unflinching commitment to the truth, regardless of who will be inconvenienced by their findings. From the interviews Parliament conducted in search of the new public protector, it was very clear to us that none of the candidates interviewed ticked the boxes needed for a public protector. The office of the public protector is not a political football, and people ought not to use political proximity to ascend to this position, nor should they use their power to massage political egos. The Deputy Public Protector knew that she had ambitions to apply for the position of the Public Protector or accept a nomination. With this knowledge, she still accepted the acting responsibility in the position of the Public Protector. To make matters worse, she went and accepted the responsibility to oversee an investigation on the Phala Phala scandal surrounding Ramaphosa, Mr. Ramaphosa. She was aware that had she made an adverse finding against this person, she was not going to be considered for the position of the Public Protector by the ANC's dominated caucus. True to her uncontrollable ambitions, she went on and whitewashed the whole investigation and absolved Mr. Ramaphosa from perhaps the biggest criminal scandal faced by a president since 1994. How disgraceful. This is not an honest person, and we don't say this lightly. She told Tolim Gambi on newsroom, this is facts. She told Tolim Gambi on newsroom that she was finished with a receipt of sale in the Phala Phala transaction. She did not end there. She went on to say that she was finished with evidence and affidavits to show beyond any doubt that there was a sale. Her own report on pages 11 and 241 says that the 10 million rand in US dollars bills found inside Mr. Ramaphosa's sofas and mattresses was from a private transaction. And she stands by that assertion, despite the Reserve Bank stating that there was no such a transaction. She is part of a cover-up assembled to protect Mr. Ramaphosa at all costs, and she cannot be trusted. When she applied for the position of Deputy Public Protector, we demonstrated during the interviews that she cannot be trusted to conduct herself in an ethical manner. When she boldly told us that she saw no problem whatsoever with working with a person who was found to have lied, saying to the committee then that for her that was not a problem. To come here and pretend that she does not have a cloud hanging over her head and think that we can give the Office of the Public Protector a fresh start would be deceitful. Even the ANC must be ashamed of some things. We reject the appointment of Kholeka Gcaleka with the contempt it deserves. And if the ANC uses its majority to appoint a president protector instead of a public protector, that's on them. Finally, the people of South Africa must see that they have voted thugs who are willing to go to great lengths to appoint a tainted person to a position of such authority. It's quite disgraceful, Honorable Speaker, that we're sitting here today contemplating appointing a liar, a manipulator, an unethical person. The EFF rejects this with contempt. Thank you.
Honorable Manyi. Honorable Manyi. Go back. Go back. Move. Honorable Manyi, you made reference to thugs who are appointing an incoming public protector. And I'm sure you are not referring to this House, because the process is here in this House. Will you please withdraw the word thugs? Please withdraw.
My conscience does not allow me. These people are thugs. These are elected thugs. They know nothing about representing the people of this country.
Honorable Manyi, you may leave the House. You may leave the House. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd rather go rather than sit with thugs.
The Honorable Member E.M. Buthelezi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The IFP has remained steadfast in its commitment to support Chapter 9 institutions. In this regard, we uphold the principles of impartiality, independence of the Public Protector's Office. The role of the Public Protector is a crucial one in our democracy. It's an office tasked to safeguarding the principles of accountability, transparency, and the rule of law. It serves as safeguard against corruption and the abuse of power. Honorable Speaker, it is not without regret that we note how this office has been suffering political interference to an extent that almost undermines the very same process of identifying a suitable candidate for the job. We observe a divisive political landscape where partisan interests and political maneuvering often overshadow the urgent need for a capable and impartial public protector. While other speakers hesitated and allowed their political biases to cloud their judgment, the IFP stands here in support of Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka as a new public protector. Our party has a consistent belief in the importance of impartiality and independence. First and foremost, Honorable Speaker, from the members of this House who were tasked to perform this task. In our support for Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka, we recognize the qualifications, the dedication to to principles of justice and commitment to uphold the Constitution. She demonstrated a strong leadership character, a deep knowledge and understanding of the ins and outs of the office she seeks to occupy. Not only did she demonstrate her knowledge of the office Speaker, but also the socio-economic challenges our country faces. Advocate Kholeka demonstrated qualities needed to lead this vital institution and ensure that it remains the beacon of hope for those who rely on it to hold those in power accountable. In fact, Honourable Speaker, those who followed interviews closely will agree with the IFP that Advocate Kholeka remained, quote-unquote, the last candidate standing from the elimination process of 36 candidates who were nominated and applied. The IFP support for Advocate Kholeka was not a partisan decision, but rather a reflection of our dedication to the democratic ideals upon which our country was founded. As we look to the future, Honourable Speaker, we call on all political parties to set aside their differences and unite behind this office, working collectively to ensure that it remains an effective guardian for our democracy. Honourable Speaker, the IFP will continue to uphold its commitment to the principles of impartiality, independence, and consistency, not only in support for the public protector, but in all aspects of our engagement with the South African political landscape. And finally, Honourable Speaker, Advocate Kholeka is a product of a due process, not recommendations of political parties, and I must overemphasize that. It's now up to Advocate Kholeka to choose to work with integrity, honesty, and absolute dedication to her work as detected by the mandate of the office, or choose to mix herself with politics and ruin her career in disgrace. We support her appointment.
Thank you, Honorable Buthelezi. The next speaker will be the Honorable W. Wessels.
Honourable Speaker, the ANC repeats the same mistakes all the time. Let's be honest, Honourable Kaba, we did not find a suitable candidate for the appointment of the Public Protector through this process. The institution of the Public Protector is paramount to our constitutional democracy. It plays effectively a role as a fourth arm of the state. It keeps your executive, Honourable Deputy Minister, in check. It provides an extra checks and balance. The legitimacy of the state is dependent on a functional, independent and impartial public protector. The ANC, throughout the process of this appointment, has been set on one requirement, and it is an important requirement, and it is being fit and proper. The Constitution says so, the Act refers to it. You must be fit and proper. They then use case law to say what the definition and the test to be fit or proper or not to be fit and proper, what that test is. And that is the requirement of having been found guilty of misconduct. That is true. But the requirement that the ANC forgets is the requirement that's also in the Constitution for all Chapter 9 institutions, and that is impartiality. And what does case law say about the test for impartiality? It says that perception should be included in that test. There's no doubt, Honourable Speaker, that there is a cloud of problems around this candidate, and that the perception out there is not good. That means that there is no impartiality. It means that we have a problem. You see, it's not only about the Pala report, but it's also about her membership of the ANC. And what makes it even worse is that she was employed in the office of one of the biggest crooks in the history of this country, Malusi Gigaba, when the worst state capture was done, and she was there. She was witness to the state capture by the Guptas and the involvement of her principal, Malusi Gigaba. If you want to restore public confidence, you need impartiality. You need the perception out there to be impartial. We cannot have another political appointment who's not impartial and perceived to be impartial. Maar wat nog meer skokkend is, agbare speaker, is die feit dat 7 jaar terug is daar gewaarsku oor die voormalige openbare beskermer. En deurgangs, die ANC wou nie luister. Waar sit sy vandag? Waar sit sy? In 'n rooi overall. Sy is nou by u vyand die EFF, want u wou nie luister nie en u wou toe van haar ontslaag geraak het. Oor minder as 7 jaar gaan ons weer hier staan en ons gaan weer 'n artikel 194 ondersoek hê, want u wil nie vandag luister nie. U val die kiesers daar buite. You are a government that has run out of time because you are failing the people of South Africa. We need to restore confidence, we need to restore this country, and we need to restore constitutional democracy. I thank you.
The Honorable S.N. Swart.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, former Chief Justice Mogoeng said of the Public Protector that she is the embodiment of the biblical David, that the public who fights the Goliath, that is impropriety and corruption by government officials, and that the Public Protector is one of the true crusaders and champions of anti-corruption and clean governance. Now, the Constitutional Court found not only that former President Zuma was in breach of his constitutional duties in not enforcing the then Public Protector's remedial action, but more significantly, that Parliament was found to have failed to hold the President accountable and thus breached its constitutional duties. Now, that judgment remains a serious indictment against Parliament. We cannot afford to make similar mistakes when appointing a new Public Protector. And the ACDP has listened carefully to the various reservations about Advocate Kholeka's independence, including her finding that the allegations that President Ramaphosa had acted in a manner inconsistent with his office regarding the Phala Phala issue could not be sustained. Now, this finding flies directly in the face of the Section 89 independent panel, which found there was prima facie evidence that the President may have committed serious violation of the Constitution as well as serious misconduct. Now, I would like to say again, Chief Justice Mogoeng stated that the Public Protector's investigative powers are not supposed to bow down to anybody, not even the door of the highest chambers of raw state power, and that includes President Ramaphosa. The ACDP regrets that it supported the appointment of Advocate Kholeka. We made a mistake, but we will not make the same mistake again and will not support this appointment. We trust, however, if the appointment goes through, that Advocate Kholeka will prove us wrong. Whilst we are speaking about the biblical David, I want to thank the Speaker for opening the session in prayer for peace in the Middle East. We need to pray for peace for Jerusalem, as we are constrained to do in Psalm 122. And our hearts go out to all innocent civilians in Israel and Gaza, but particularly those who were savagely murdered and butchered by Hamas, including a 65-year-old South African granny, including babies that were murdered. No country would allow these unspeakable atrocities to go unanswered and would do everything in its power to defend itself and its innocent citizens and save the innocent hostages. We demand the release of those hostages. Haim Yisrael Chai, and remember, Hashem, who watches over Israel, neither slumbers nor sleeps. I thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Honorable T.L. Mahau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I stand before you today to voice the ATM's strong opposition to the nomination of Advocate Kholeka for the position of Public Protector. This is a position rooted in a deep concern for the integrity and impartiality of this crucial office, an office that serves as the guardian of our democracy, the protector of the public's interest, and a formidable enemy against corruption and abuse of power. In the few months that Advocate Kholeka has served as an acting Public Protector, we have witnessed a blatant display of bias that has raised serious doubts about her suitability for the head of a Chapter 9 institution. The very essence of the Public Protector's mandate is to be an unwavering advocate for justice, a beacon of accountability, and a defender of our constitutional principles. Unfortunately, Advocate Kholeka's actions have shown a different path, one where justice takes a backseat to political maneuvering. The office of the Public Protector is one of the cornerstones of our democracy. It is designed to be fiercely independent, insulated from political pressure or influence. The reason for this independence is clear: to ensure that those in power are held accountable for their actions, regardless of their political affiliation. When the Public Protector's office becomes politicized, when its actions are perceived as being influenced by political interests, the very foundation of our democracy is undermined. Let us not forget the report on the President's Phala Phala scandal, a report that has shaken the very foundation of our belief in impartiality and fairness. This report, which many expected to be a beacon of transparency and legality, instead turned to be a legal quagmire. It raised more questions than answers, and its findings were tainted with a stain of political biasness. Advocate Kholeka's handling of the Phala Phala scandal brought into question her ability to reason with legal questions. It casts serious doubts on her impartiality and her commitment to the principles of justice. We cannot afford to have a public protector who bends the law to protect the interests of a single individual, even if that individual happens to be the president. The dangers associated with politicizing the Public Protector's office extend beyond the single incident. What is even more concerning is that after the president was held accountable by the former Public Protector, Advocate Kholeka, on numerous occasions, he is now trying to ensure that the next Public Protector will be lenient towards him. Advocate Kholeka's Phala Phala report served as a proof that she was willing to be the president's protector instead of the public, which is deeply troubling. The notion that her nomination for Public Protector is a reward for getting the president off the hook in the Phala Phala scandal is deeply troubling. It sends a dangerous message that those in power can manipulate our institutions of accountability for their own gain. In closing, I implore each and every one of us to be considerate the implication of Advocate Kholeka's appointment for Public Protector. We cannot afford to compromise the integrity of this or allow it to be used as a political pawn. Let us stand firm in our commitment to justice, accountability, and the rule of law, and reject this appointment that threatens to undermine the very foundation of our democracy. I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable MME Hlape.
Honorable Speaker, Deputy President, members of Executive, honorable members. The process of selecting the PP goes beyond merely meeting the minimum requirements set out in legislation, as the candidate has to demonstrate a clear understanding of the role and mandate of the Public Protector in our constitutional democracy, understand social justice, rule of law, good governance, demonstrate leadership and management capabilities, and the ability to function independently, as well as ethical conduct, amongst others. Honorable Speaker, the interview process was credible, fully transparent, and allowed for public participation, as we not only looked for a candidate who met minimum requirements, but looked for someone who could restore the integrity and dignity of critical office of the Public Protector that supports and strengthens our democracy. It is important, honorable members, to indicate that all candidates demonstrated varying strength and capabilities in the interviews. For the candidates who did not make it, Honorable Speaker, I just want to say to them, you were brilliant, but just one thing, taken from literature on communication, because during interviews, you do not only communicate with panelists, but also with the general public. The scholars of communication also believe that communicating effectively means not only taking responsibility for what you say, but also for how you are being heard. Now, coming to the overall consideration taken by the ANC and the balance required in consideration related to knowledge, experience, skills, and character, we agree that Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka is the best candidate suited for the position of PPSA. For in Advocate Kholeka, honorable members, we did not have to look for an easy option, we chose the best. In summary, Honorable Speaker, she was among the youngest candidates interviewed, was well prepared, and exhibited high levels of confidence and bravery. She demonstrated a good understanding of the operations of OPP and has a concrete, clear vision for the office within the confines of its mandate and a clear approach of improving its accessibility. She has substantial knowledge on interpretation, application, and understanding of the law, demonstrated good temperament, which is a critical requirement for the holder of a Chapter 9 institution. She demonstrated high levels of professional ethics, diplomacy, and consciousness. She was able to defend her decisions taken since acting as APP from a logical and legal perspective. Above all, she has already started putting processes in place to strengthen the work of PPSA through continuous training and development, and has established links between the institution and the University of KwaZulu-Natal. She has displayed a sense of fairness and justice, the ability to remain calm in difficult situations. We have been privileged as South Africans to see all this from her in action. That is why, Honorable Speaker, we said we did not have to look for the best option, we chose the best. Notwithstanding the hostility she faced in the committee from parties like EFF and the DA, she remained calm and unshaken, a true sign of a leader who will be able to weather the storm whenever she's faced with challenging situations. And most importantly, she made it clear that she's not affiliated to any political party. On character, Honorable Speaker, Advocate Kholeka displayed rationality, assertiveness in thinking, confidence in composure, and driveness, which are character traits that are not what ordinarily expects to see in a young woman. She defied all the feminine ideal stereotypes, and that sets her apart from the rest. John Wooden once said, and I quote, "Be more concerned with your character than your reputation. For your character is who you really are, while your reputation is merely what other things you are," close quote. The aspersions, Honorable Speaker, that have been cast on the person of Advocate Kholeka are not only unfair, but have no factual or legal basis. She was able to clarify with ease the issues that were raised in the public domain relating to her investigation since assuming the position of acting public protector in June 22. And in this regard, Madam Speaker, for those who still have an issue about her appointment for the position of PPSA, I want to borrow the words of Marilyn Monroe when she said, and I quote, "I've never fooled anyone. I've let people fool themselves. They didn't bother to find out who and what I was. Instead, they would invent a character for me. I would not argue with them," close quote. With Advocate Kholeka, Honorable Speaker, we did not choose the easy option. We chose the best, and because we did not have to choose an easy option, we found the best. To Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka, yours is a noble job of protecting the vulnerable. The ANC wishes you nothing but the best. For you as the incoming PP, as the keeper of all South African rich and poor, we urge you to keep the character worthy of the calling you have received. Be completely impartial, honest, humane, humble yet strong. Be patient, bearing with everyone in empathy and love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the PPSA through the bond of peace and unity. The ANC supports your appointment as Public Protector South Africa. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Tape. The next speaker on my list is Honorable B.N. Heron.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, before I begin, I think it's important for us to express how disgraceful it was for this House to hear from the Democratic Alliance that Advocate Kholeka's career was built on the foundations of intimate relationships. It's disgraceful, it's sexist, it's racist. This House owes Advocate Kholeka an apology and an unequivocal rejection of those insinuations. Madam Speaker, the Office of the Public Protector is a creation of the Constitution to strengthen our constitutional democracy. In its 2016 judgment on the role of the Public Protector, the Constitutional Court described the office as part of our national value system. One of the crucial elements of the constitutional vision is to make a decisive break from the unchecked abuse of state power and resources that were virtually institutionalized during the apartheid era. To achieve this goal, we adopted accountability, the rule of law, and the supremacy of the Constitution as the values of our constitutional democracy. The Public Protector was required to be independent and subject only to the Constitution and the rule of law. The institution was pivotal to the facilitation of good governance. Madam Speaker, it is to the great detriment of our country that this office, with such virtuous objectives, is perceived by so many to be dragged into the sewers of factional and political contestation. The appointment is an important opportunity to reset. We are required to be confident, or as confident as we can be, that firstly, the proposed candidate has the skills to meet the Constitutional Court's judgments, requirements with respect to the supremacy of accountability and the rule of law in our democracy. And secondly, the proposed candidate has the integrity to act with independence and as a champion of the Constitution. The Public Protector's Office exists to protect the public purse from the abuse or prejudice. It was set up as an office of the people who can't necessarily afford to litigate in order to hold public representatives and public servants accountable. The drafters of our Constitution conceived of a way to give even the poor and marginalized a voice and teeth that would bite corruption and abuse excruciatingly. And that is the Public Protector. The Public Protector must therefore embody the virtues, as we've heard, of the biblical David, taking on the most powerful and better resourced Goliath on behalf of the people of this country. We have no reason to doubt that Advocate Kholeka has the credentials and the experience to meet the requisite standards, reassert the independence of the Office of the Public Protector, and rise to the challenge of restoring its integrity. We will therefore support her appointment. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Next speaker will be Honourable A.M. Sheikh Imam.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Allow me at the very outset to extend our condolences to the family of my late colleague, Christopher Howard Sibisi. May his soul rest in peace. And also allow me to extend our condolences to the family, friends of Colin Mashlangu in Parliament, his colleagues. Very sad indeed, and may his soul rest in peace as well. Now, I think, Honourable Speaker, the question we need to ask ourselves, given the conduct of many members in this House, who have also questioned whether those 33 people, bring them down to 8, are fit for purpose to hold office as a public protector, it begs to answer the question, are we really fit for purpose in this House based on our conduct to decide that a public protector should be appointed by us really? What is all the fuss about in this House today? It all boils down to the fact that we as politicians want to decide who should be and should not be because of our personal preferences. What is the fault of this public protector that we want to appoint today? That she didn't do what certain politicians in this House wanted her to do, and that is to find the president guilty. Now, she did her work. She acted responsibly. She decided in terms of the evidence in front of her that indeed the president is innocent. And because of that, she today has to be insulted in this House in such a disgraceful manner, in such a demeaning manner. It is totally unacceptable. So again, the question that we ask is, should this House be deciding on important positions of this nature? That is the question we should be asking, because we are putting our own personal interest before what is in the best interest of the country. Now, I can say to you without any doubt, having gone through the report, I did not participate in it personally, and I'm satisfied, we are satisfied as the NFP, that all processes were followed and that the best candidate able to do this job has been appointed. And I think based on that, the National Freedom Party will support this. And we're calling on the public protector when appointed to conduct herself without any fear or favor, but more importantly, go for all these corrupted people that can come here and attack your credibility, but when you look back at them, they are corrupt as well. On the issue of Palestine, the National Freedom Party wants to say it's barbaric, the behavior and conduct of the Zionist Israel state. And to those of you who are supporting it, the very same Zionists that say you are barbaric, the same Zionists that say you are subhuman, and those are the ones you are supporting it. Go and look at the map. Palestine has always been there. The Zionists have only come into existence just over 100 years, but for thousands of years, those Palestinian Christian, Jews, and Muslims live side by side. The Zionist ideology is one of supremacy. Anybody that does not conform to them are subhuman, including those of you here. So I don't know what you see. For 76 years, you've been abusing them. You have been humiliating them. You've been killing them. You've been raping them. You blow up a hospital. Over 64% of the 3,000 some of that died are children, babies, innocent babies. It's a disgrace on those parties that will support Israel, a barbaric state of Zionist Israel. The National Freedom Party supports this report and welcomes the new public protector. Thank you.
Honorable S.M. Jafta.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Maybe one must start by saying, Honorable Speaker, that the AIC has full support on your leadership as the Speaker of this House. And we are not apologetic about that, especially that you are an African woman. The African Independent Congress has reviewed the interview of Advocate Kholeka before this Parliament. We have also reviewed the Public Protector Act and the Constitution, both of which confer the Public Protector's limited powers and responsibilities. Having cleared the growth, we must record that our support for the candidature of Advocate Kholeka is informed by principle. She has an extensive legal experience and has performed well during her interview in this Parliament. We must, however, remind Advocate Kholeka that legal qualifications and experiences for this position are never enough. We expect Advocate Kholeka to uphold the values of fairness, impartiality, and moral integrity. The office of the Public Protector is not a political vehicle to settle political scores. Its incumbent has to be beyond reproach. The requirement that Chapter 9 institutions must be led by men and women who are fit and proper reinforces not only the principle of competence, but also moral integrity and honesty. At all times, the Public Protector must perform her functions with an independent mind, without fear, favor, or prejudice. Given the role of the Public Protector in promoting efficient and sound public administration, including eroding the excesses of public power, the incumbent is duty-bound to remain loyal to their oath of office. This means they must be obedient to the Constitution of the Republic. It cannot be gainsaid that our Constitution limits the term of the Public Protector to a 7-year term. This is crucial to safeguard their independence and impartiality. We argue that a 7-year term is a necessary recipe for independence. Independence must therefore empower every public protector to choose the Constitution over political expediency. In any event, there is a thin line between the Constitution and politics. We hope that Advocate Kholeka appreciates this demarcated line and will strive to remain true to her oath of office. We wish her well. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next speaker will be Honorable RMM Lisuma.
Enkosi Somlomo, Sekela Mongameli ohloniphekileyo, Sotswepi wombutho omkhulu apha kulo muzi esikuwo, baphathiswa namasekela baphathiswa, malunga ahloniphekileyo, bantu baseMzantsi, siyabulisa zandla zombili. Asizukuthi ke sithethe sinqande yonke inkunkumba lethethwayo apha. Sizawuthi ngqo sihlale kule sizwe leyo apha. Asivume sithi the appointment of the public protector is guided by the constitutional requirements which are further expressed in the Public Protector Act, which guides the decision-making process of the ad hoc committee. We here rise on behalf of the ANC in support of the appointment of Advocate Kholeka. The participation of the ANC in the ad hoc committee was guided by the principles and orientation of our Constitution, as entailed in the preamble. The preamble, honorable members, honorable Speaker, fellow South Africans of our constitutions, applauds the Republic to heal the divisions of the past, not what we have seen this afternoon, and establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and fundamental human rights. Lay the foundations for the democratic and open society which government is based on the will of the people and every citizen is equally protected by the law. Improve the quality of life of all citizens and free the potential of each person. Build a united and a democratic South Africa able to take its rightful place in the sovereign state in the family of nations. Honorable Speaker, these objectives then inform the ANC's decision-making process on who the ANC should support to be a public protector. Yes, indeed, she is fit and proper and capable. In our assessment of the candidates through questionnaires and interview, we got an opportunity to assess the candidates' appreciation of the social transformation required to respond to the objectives set in the preamble. A decision of the National Assembly should, honorable members, be based on rationality, and anything which does not pass the rationality test is questionable. With this understanding, allegations raised in relation to Advocate Kholeka fell short of any rational basis, and they advertently intended to prejudice the candidate, but she was steadfast and not intimidated. Shortlisted candidates from various professional specializations performed relatively well in the interview process, and we are confident that they will continue to serve in their respective roles. Beyond these requirements, Honorable Speaker and Honorable fellow South Africans, we tested various aspects among the candidates based on their experience and to test the knowledge of the law and understanding of the Public Protector of South Africa as is stated in the Constitution. The judicial judgment on the former Public Protector have necessitated a particular focus on elements which impacted the institution negatively. Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka, who is also an acting Public Protector as we speak, has demonstrated her knowledge of application of law and her understanding of the institution's interventions and required to restore the confidence of the Public Protector and her role in this regard. Relative to the other candidates, Advocate Gcaleka demonstrated attributes which demonstrated that she was fit and she is fit and she will be fit for the purpose, from the character, experience, knowledge, and skills. At the time, you fellow South Africans will agree with me that there are those ones which got a passionate hatred of a black woman and a black child. Black child, you are on your own. But we are here to protect you. At a time, challenges and the need to restore the confidence and image of the public protector, her experience in institutions, and her vision for the public protector of South Africa will steer the institution to the higher trajectory. Her comprehension of the thoroughgoing process of transformation that is required posited her as favorable candidate. As such, comprehension appreciates the spirit of intention of our Constitution. Our nation is confronted with significant challenges in the public administration and in the exercise of power of authority. The level of non-compliance with the legislation in the public service, the level of corruption which leads to the prejudice for the public and individuals, and administration broadly do not contribute to realizing what the preamble of the Constitution realizes the Republic. Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka, the Deputy Protector, the acting Public Protector as we speak, who is capable, fit and proper, is also the acting Public Protector, is already taking several honorable members' measures to strengthen the morale of the staff members in the Public Protector of SA. This is critical as the execution of the mandate of the PPSA rests in its staff members who play various roles in resolving complaints and allegations from the public. On continuous questions asked by the interviewers or the interviewing pilot to the panel to the Public Protector, whether on the Pala matter or matters related to her tenure in the National Public Protector, she demonstrated character of composure, providing the committee with a factual facts basis on all areas questioned by the committee members. Advocate Gcaleka, yes indeed, is fit and proper to serve as the 5th Public Protector of the Republic of South Africa. Thank you, Honorable Member. The ANC supports the appointment.
Thank you, Honorable Lesuna. Our next speaker is Honorable MGE Hendricks. Honorable Hendricks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the outbursts of the Leader of the Opposition will not tarnish your life of courage and service and fairness. Al-Jamaa stands with our Speaker. We stand with the Secretary of Parliament. What impressed me about the candidate that has been nominated was the way she responded in an interview to how she will arrive at her determinations. She put forward the high standards she will use to manage the dozen or so members of the Quality Control Committee that will audit the investigation, the determination, the findings, and the remedial action. That is an inherent requirement for the position of Public Protector, and that is the reason why Al-Jamaa will support this report. Honorable Speaker, moonshot parties are set to vote against this report because they are worried that if the report is successful, the new Public Protector will act harshly against them. If complaints are laid that they support genocide, ethnic cleansing, the indiscriminate killing of thousands of children, and bombing Christian hospitals, spitting on Christians and spitting on the cross is not bad enough by the occupiers in Palestine. People of the cloth like Reverend Frank Sakani, Alan Busak, and the Anglican Church will applaud the new Public Protector if she is appointed. One of the decisions of the recommended candidate has earned the wrath of one or more political parties. However, that should not detract us from supporting her. Honorable Chair, the position of the DA on the report does not pass accountability muster. First of all, they are the official opposition and during the process did not fully participate. They failed in their oversight role, they failed their constituency, they failed the country. It was disappointing that they did not share their wisdom in the two shortlisting processes. To use the argument that no one was suitable is an insult to all the candidates, some very, very good candidates. It's just that everyone had different strengths, and that's why the report recommends what it did. In the end, the Democratic Alliance position was none of the candidates were suitable. They did nothing to attract candidates that meet their criteria, or such candidates were not impressed by them. I cannot see how candidates that meet the criteria will apply a second time round. They did not apply in the first place, so why should they apply now? Honourable Speaker, Al-Jamaa will analyze the positions expressed and make a decision that the streets expect from a people's parliament, a humanitarian parliament. We are very impressed with this humanitarian parliament that has showed their support for the Al-Aqsa flood. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. The last speaker will be the Honourable Q.R. Kyanki. Mutin.
Honourable Speaker, Sekela Mongameli, Amalungu Cabinet, honourable members who are here, and everybody in the public gallery and to the nation out there. The Office of the Public Protector is very important. It is a Chapter 9 institution engraved in a constitution. These institutions need individuals with ethical leadership whose ethical history is unquestionable. When the committee assesses candidates and arrive to a recommendation for the House, there should be no doubt over ethical leadership. The institution of Public Protector South Africa is one of the pillars of our constitution, precisely because it is there to facilitate interaction between ordinary people to resolve injustices from the exercise of government authority, which instills in ordinary people confidence in the state. We believe the candidate recommended to this House is most appropriate to fulfill this role and bring back the pride that the people of South Africa had in the Office of the Public Protector. Advocate Kholeka, the most prepared and demonstrated confidence and qualities that display that she is able to be independent and able to apply the law to the facts. She has introduced creative measures to improve the functioning of the Office of the Public Protector just the year she's been acting. Through, amongst other things, improving the case management of the office, reintroducing a culture of debate and learning in the institution, and improving synergy and collegial relationship between the employees of the office and the public protector. This, we believe, will restore the dignity of the office and uphold its independence and strengthen its ability to contribute constructively to our developing constitutional democracy. This is the caliber of a candidate that we are told to forego by the opposition for no other reason except for political reasons. The objection by some members of this House is informed by the fact that they expected Advocate Kholeka to make findings or do her work in a manner that suited their political narratives. The fact of the matter is that the law requires that the public protector does her investigations with an open and an inquiring mind. The Constitutional Court held that a state of mind is open to all possibilities and reflects upon whether the truth has been told. It is not one that is unduly suspicious, but it is also not one that is unduly believing. The public protector is also required to not only discover the truth, but also to inspire public confidence that in each investigation, the truth has been discovered. Where the evidence is inconclusive or incongruent, the public protector is obliged to carefully evaluate it to determine the truth. Unlike Advocate Kholeka, Advocate Kholeka, as an investigator, is expected to assess the facts objectively and make findings based on the facts and evidence provided to her. She is being objected to because she observed the facts and did her work diligently. The Honorable Gladys Breitenbach, who ran away, cannot mask her personal gripe with Advocate Kholeka. stemming from her tenure at a national prosecuting authority. She could not hide the bias in the interviews. She proceeded to raise the exact same questions she raised when we interviewed Advocate Kholeka for the Deputy Public Protector in 2019. And Advocate Kholeka responded then and responded now even better. The DA prefers that we forgo the most suitable candidate because of the personal preference of one individual who cannot get over her personal experience at the NPA. They want us to sacrifice the Constitution at the altar of expediency. We should not allow personal differences to be brought into critical processes such as appointment of a Chapter 9 head. Honorable Werner Horn, who could not speak because they ran away, this member posed questions regarding a municipal case on discretionary powers. He wanted to prove through the process that a public protector must follow, using the Pala case, discretionary powers, not powers that are not discretionary. This nominee, Advocate Kholeka, referred him to another case, indicating that the form and structure which the PP takes investigation is discretionary. Because he wanted him to say, you should have just ruled in this way in Pala. Advocate Kholeka answered the questions and gave Honorable Horn a different authority, not his authority. In essence, Honorable Horn wanted to review Pala in an interview. We should be able to put our personal differences aside and look objectively at the credibility, skills, expertise, and competencies of the candidate. The EFF objections are mainly about whether the candidate is more pliable to enable them to exert influence
Order, honorable members. That concludes the debate, honorable members. I now put the question. The question before the House is that Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka be recommended for appointment as public protector. Are there any objections? No? Right. I now put the question. Those in favor of the recommendation of Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka for appointment as public protector will say aye. Aye. And those against the recommendation of Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka for appointment as public protector will say no. I think the ayes have it. Yeah. Ayes have it. Okay. Now, honorable members, because of the post which we are voting for, which we are appointing this afternoon, we have an obligation to put the matter to a vote, even though there may be ayes who are in favor of the appointment. So, honorable members, in terms of Section 193 of 5BI of the Constitution, the nominated person must be recommended for appointment as public protector by a supporting vote of at least 60% of the members of the Assembly, which is a minimum of 240 yes votes. Although a division has not been demanded, members are required to record their vote on the recommendation. The bells will be rung for 10 minutes, honorable members.